We are now joined in the studios on the news at 7 by Prince Jide Akinyooye, who is from the royal family in Osun, Osun State. He is also the Secretary, Board of Trustees, Orolu Progressives Union. He also is the coordinator of the Osun Monitors, a civil society organization advocating for good governance. Thank you for your time on the news at 7 today, Prince.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Let's begin with the news of the demise of the Oludo of Ido Osun Obaderemi Adedapo, who joined his ancestors after an illness. How would you describe the monarch?
I can briefly say that late Oba Oludo was an embodiment of Yoruba culture. And for anybody that has met him, even if it is once, we know that this is a highly respected Yoruba Oba, from his dressing, from his utterances, and his way of life. So he has lived a fulfilled life. And we are proud that we have somebody of his personality, as Oba in Yoruba land. He's a brilliant person, a loving father. So to cut it short, you see him, you will see Yoruba culture. If he's dressing, look at any of his picture. Without saying anything, you can say much about him.
Now, if you can help us make a sense of it, what events usually happen following the demise of a monarch in Yoruba land?
Well, like, all these monarchs, there are categories.
Okay.
Because as at the time I came to this newsroom, I'm not aware that the state government has made the announcement, but I think that has to be the first thing. The demise of a paramount ruler like Oludo is not just like any lesser king. It is expected that the state government would make the announcement. And when the announcement is made, definitely, especially in that community, people have to, you will see that sense of mourning, because it's not a small thing for a royal father to have joined his ancestors, because in Yoruba land, you can't say a king died. He joined his ancestors. So what I know now is that in Ido Osun, for anybody that entered that town, by this time, without telling you, we know something has happened. So there will be some traditional rites which will start immediately the state government make the announcement. So those are the things. All these rites, depends from one town to another. But I'm very sure, because I am very versatile about the background of Ido Osun being one of descendants of Oduduwa. Because Oludo Osun, they are triplets. Oludo, Olore, and Elekosi. Three of them were born in the same day, and three of them are kings in different cities. So because they have a direct link to Ile-Ife, so definitely that's a pure ancient town that must have their rights, which we know to the people involved.
Now, this takes us to discussions around our traditional institutions in Yoruba land. How best do you think this can be protected, the traditional institution in Yoruba land?
Well, the traditional institution can be protected by the custodians. Who are the custodians of these traditions? The kings of various communities. The taboo in Osun, where I come from, like anybody that becomes king in that town can never, you can't be drinking palm wine. It's different from the taboo in another town because the different is purely Obatala line. They don't have anything to do with Oduduwa. So in Ido, they will have their tradition. In Ede, they will have their tradition because Ede people, they are linked to Sogo, which will have something to do with Oyo. So in Iwo and in other, so the best way the tradition can be protected is to ensure that the processes leading to appointment of this custodian are protected. They start from that because it's garbage in, garbage out. When you don't have right people in those positions, I'm telling you, the tradition will be in the mess. So, and even when we have the right people, they have to ensure that those traditions have to be sustained. We have to sustain our tradition from the culture, the dressing, and the way of life. Because I believe Yoruba race, we have one of the best culture in the world.
Let's talk about tourism in
Okay.
Osun State. Some months back, you celebrated and promoted Ogun Festival in your town, Ifon Osun. And what do you think the state government needs to do to properly develop and promote tourism?
Thank you. What the government needs to do, because when you are talking about tourism, we are talking of activities that will have to do with, that will bring players for people, that will attract people. Those activities can be like the one like cultural tourism, the one you have just mentioned, like Ogun, that is being celebrated almost everywhere in some part of Yoruba land. In fact, in Osun, Ogun is more celebrated in Ile-Ife. That's when they celebrate Olojo and Ede land. They do celebrate in Osogbo. They do celebrate in Ifon, just as you have rightly mentioned. So, the same thing, you talk about Osun. They are celebrating Osun in Ifon. They are celebrating in Ede. They are celebrating in Ile-Ife. But Osun is more celebrated in Osogbo than every other places. So like Crown Festival that is being celebrated in my town, sorry to digress. So what I'm trying to say is that you will see that in Osogbo, the concentration is on Osun. In Ile-Ife, Ede, Sogo, Ogun is better celebrated there. In Ifon, where I come from, like the last day of this month, they will start celebrating masquerades. By August, they will celebrate Ade. So what the government needs to do is that government needs to key in into this celebration by assisting the custodian of those festival or environment, by assisting them in promoting that financially, in encouraging them in whatever way. So by the time government do this, this will translate to income to the same government that invests. Let me use that language. Government should invest in Yoruba tradition, which is a kind of, in fact, is the major thing. It's not oil. Oil can finish one day. They can discover another thing. But God has given us all these things. And interestingly, people from the Europe, America, talk of everywhere in the world, they love our culture. By the time government invests in this, it will create employment. It will encourage tourists, international tourists, which will, it will increase our activities. And before you know it, government will continue to be getting incomes from those. And those those festivals or environments will be a larger attraction than what anybody can talk. Just the way people are watching their football, it's the same way they can come here to, you know, just the way people go to Saudi Arabia, go to Israel. It's the same way we expect people from around the world to come to Nigeria. There are various different in different places at different times, but government is still doing little, in fact, little about these things. So government needs to invest in it, not only support. They need serious investment, investment in terms of infrastructure, in terms of packaging. Yes, because we need to package those things in such a way that it will attract the foreigners. We need to support by giving them finance, by providing finance for those people so that they can do some certain things that government cannot do for them. So there are so many ways. Government can even promote this tourism by making our people, local people, to see what is happening around the world, in some other countries, to see how tourism has benefited those places. It will now ginger our people. It will encourage them to be more committed towards promoting our, tradition, which is the basis for those tourism.
Now, Prince, your organization, the Osun Monitors, has in the past months been at the forefront of good governance in Osun State. How would you describe the administration of Governor Demola Adeleke so far?
The reason why you will see that I feel somewhat reluctant to describe the government, because this is a government that has a mandate of 4 years. We have not reached half of the kilometer, but notwithstanding, I'm glad and I'm proud to tell you that this is a government that doesn't reject criticism. They see, let me say, constructive criticism. They are open to, they run open door policy, because I can remember, I can judge them from our organization, because the Osun Monitors were like a partner to promote good governance, as you have rightly said. We have raised issues, different issues at different times. When we're supposed to encourage them, we encourage them. When we're supposed to raise alerts, we raise alerts. That will make me to go back to our last statements, which we just issued, and that has covered the questions you are talking about. I remember we commended Mr. Governor for, for responding to workers. You know that Osun is more or less like a civil servant state. Civil servants are more than, private workers in private sector. And all of us in Osun knows that the workers have not been treating fine, especially in the last 12 years. But when this governor came, he put laugh into their mouth. All of us see the way the alert was just coming for them gradually. So we commended governor, which means it's working right. And at the same time, I think on the Monday 6th of May, when we tried to let the Governor Council of the Osun State Polytechnic, IRE, to know that they are under the leadership of Honorable Ayembeku. Interestingly, somebody like me, I'm one of the alumni of the institution. And we are trying to caution them to sustain the institutional integrity. That concerns the Governing Council, the Ministry of Education. In fact, we have to, at a point, we have to send for the petition for the governing council, even though it is saddening that because we are everywhere. The Osun monitors, we are even in this your organization as micro as it is. We see that they are trying to frustrate some staff, thinking that they wonder how we get our information. And what we are trying to do is to help the government of Governor Ademola Adeleke, because once something is wrong in a sector, it bounces back on him. It takes responsibility for whatever happened, whether in education, whether in sports, whether in tourism, whether in finance or whatever. He is the last man that will take the glory and the responsibility, even for weakness or whatever that is bad. So I'm using this opportunity to advise the governing council and the management of the Osun State Polytechnic Ire to key in, to follow the footstep of the governor, of the current governor. This governor is like some past administration that doesn't welcome constructive criticism. Because when somebody is criticizing the government, they are helping you. We are criticizing the government or a particular office at a time they are still there, not after. Okay, now, what can former Governor Oyetola, what can he do? What can Aregbesola, what correction can Aregbesola make to whatever he has done now? So far so good. This government has started on a good note. Yeah, there are times we have criticized him, but what we discover is that once we raise a lot or something, the governor quickly had to, make some necessary.
Prince, let's put it on the scale of 1 to 10.
1 to 10, I think we are going to put him on, we are going to rate him on 59.
1 to 10?
Oh, 1 to 10.
Yes, sir.
I'm talking, sorry, 100%.
1 to 100.
1 to 10. Right. I'm talking 100%.
5.9.
1 to 10. That would be like 1 to 10. That would be like 6.9.
All right. What advice? Let's move on. Do you have?
As at now.
As at this time.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what advice do you have, Prince, for the federal and state governments with regards to ensuring better living conditions for the people?
Please come again.
What advice do you have for the government at the federal and the state level for a better living condition for the people?
Well, all of us will see that irrespective of class that you belong, except you are working for the government, the situation, the economic situation is not, is not all right now. Both federal government, the state government, and even the local government that's not physically existent, because we can't feel their impact. They have to synergize together. Not the PDP has to forget, because like, Osun State now, at the state level, the ruling party is PDP. At the federal level, we have APC. Each party has to forget their policy or whatever and consider that it's a matter of emergency to ensure that standard of living of people are improved. If care is not taken, if things continue to go this way, I can tell you more companies will fold up. A lot of industry will not be able to, sustain their operation, and they will even run to other countries. At the end of the day, that will be a calamity for the nation. So both the federal and the state, they have to work together, advance themselves, and find a way of improving on our power. If states can do it within their state, we don't know how it will happen. They have to look for solution for power at affordable rates. not plan A, plan B as they are just deceiving us, band A, band B. They have to work on power, and they have to make sure that the agriculture is well, you know, they encourage people to go into agriculture and encourage our production sector. Because the issue of dollar, everybody is talking about, until this country starts producing what we can consume. By the time we start producing, sorry that I'm going to economy, by the time we start producing what we want and export, then the exchange rate will stabilize. And there's no way the production and the other thing can be done without power. That power is key. Once the problem of power is solved, I can tell you 60% of Nigeria problem is already solved.
We must sincerely appreciate you, Prince Jide Akinyooye, for joining us on News at 7 today, sir.
Thank you for inviting me.
Prince Jide Akinyooye is from the royal family of Osun State. He's also the coordinator of the Osun Monitors, a civil society organization advocating for good governance.